night after Nightline.
This is Channel 7 Eyewitness News with John Drury and Mary Ann Childers, Steve Deschler's weather, Tim Weigel on sports, and the Eyewitness News team. This is Eyewitness News.
Good evening. It was as wild and woolly a game as Bear fans have seen in years. But when the dust settled, the Bears still possessed their undefeated record. And the hero was a whale of a man who put the Packers on ice. Tim Weigel is live at the Bears locker room with more. Tim?
Hello, John. Mike Adamle and I are both here. We have a lot of questions about this Bear football game, which may not have been the best Monday night game of all time, but it was the longest. The Bears winning at 23-7. As you mentioned in the lead into the news, the new star tonight, William the Refrigerator Man Perry. Let's go to some highlights for this early part of the newscast. Walter Payton scored the first touchdown for the Bears, and he ran behind a human wall. Perry in on a short yardage situation, clearing out all the opposition. Walter forcing his way in. Walter had 25 carries for 112 yards. And then here was the real eye-opener with the score tied at 7 apiece. There goes Perry in for the score. William Perry almost destroys the ball when he spikes it right here. And the Bears go on to win 23-7. The second half a little bit on the sleepy side, but I would say, Mike, that we made up for the excitement with Perry in that
Well, the
first
amazing
half.
thing about William Perry is he may be ruled illegal because here's a guy like Manute Bol in basketball who has that incredible ability to block shots. He's unstoppable at the goal line if he gets off to a quick start, which he did tonight on 2 different occasions. He killed the Packers' George Cumby, and at 325 pounds, there's no way you can stop the man.
He's a great athlete. It's not, it's the kind of thing where it's not a gimmick. A lot of people were saying he was just sort of rubbing it in to the 49ers last week, but he's for real. And speaking of for real, we're going to have him on live a little bit later on in the newscast. We'll also talk to Walter Payton and some of the other Bears. Our question, Mike, how is Jim McMahon's ankle?
Jim McMahon looked fine. He had a little ice on it right now. Hold on a second. We've got the man of the hour. Here he comes, William Perry. William Sporting, did Walter Payton give you the Kangaroos today, pal?
He got me, involved with it.
You look pretty grim, man. You don't look like you're savoring your moment in the spotlight.
Oh, no, everything is for everything. Went well. We won and everything, and I'm happy.
I mean, you have to be real happy for your hometown of Aiken, South Carolina. A lot of people had a chance to see you do your stuff on national television.
Oh, yes, everybody back there, they are pulling for me, and I'm happy, to get in, and run the ball, for a change and play for a while.
Now the big question is, do you want to play defensive tackle anymore, or you want to be a fullback? We're going to show some highlights here early.
Covering a kickoff. Look at this. Boom. You're doing it all, man. I don't know what's going on. You told me before the game you might carry the ball, and I thought you were kidding me. But I was shocked that he put you in here in a situation where the game's on the line. I mean, here you're clearing away for Payton. What happened down there?
Well, I went in for a lead trap for Walter, and I was blocking the linebacker, and that was my job, to clear him out of the way so Walter can get in the end zone. So I did.
Did you get in the end zone yourself right there? That's the first time you've ever scored a touchdown, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it's my first time.
How long have you been working on that spike?
Oh, a long time. I wanted to spike it hard.
Well, you guys have to feel pretty good about sticking it to the Packers on national television.
Oh, yes, it was, it was great. It was a bigger rivalry, for us. So, everybody's happy now.
All right, go on in and meet your media because you're getting to be a national celebrity,
I'm just out there,
You are out there. That is true, man.
He's so big he had to have 2 reporters cover him tonight.
Yeah, we had a refrigerator sandwich. All right, John, as advertised, we'll be back with more Bear post-game hoopla. But first, let's toss it back to the studio.
I can't get back.
Okay, Jim, thank you. Well, for the first time ever, the beer taps at Soldier Field were shut off after halftime in an effort to curb drunken and rowdy behavior in the stands. Chuck Gotti standing by live to report on how the whole thing went. What happened, Chuck?
Well, Mary Ann, as the crowd files out here now, the preliminary indication is that halftime beer ban did virtually nothing to limit the amount of beer that people consumed here tonight. If this crowd is any indication, that is probably the case. Approximately the same number of drunks ejected as 5 years ago. Through 3 quarters, 21 people ejected, 4 arrested. I'm not sure whether these people are happy, whether they were ejected, or whether they should be arrested. But in any case, police here are predicting the number of drunk and disorderly arrests to increase significantly before everybody goes home.
Everybody must hold their own tickets, no bottles or cans.
All 65,000 fans were warned. Some were stopped, searched, and frisked tonight as the Park District tried to keep people from skirting its new beer rule by bringing in their own stock for the second half. Despite this tight security, as always, some fans managed to sneak booze into the stadium. This fellow slid a bottle of whiskey into his jacket pocket and slipped through security.
I walked by security.
Nobody stopped you?
No, we just picked the gate.
Kickoff the second half. Beer sales are supposed to be stopped by now according to the Monday night Park District rules. But at this booth near Gate O, people are still being served beer. And beer continued to be sold here well into the third quarter. Teams of Park District employees were to go from booth to booth stopping beer sales, but at this one, they kept selling it until they ran out. For many fans, the suds started flowing early. Some got a jump on Bears spirit today, packing north side bars from mid-afternoon. At several taverns, the booze flowed right onto charter Bears buses. And despite new tailgating rules tonight, the proof was in the bottle. People celebrating happy hour in the parking lots, no matter who might have been watching. Inside, during the first half and at halftime, beer lines seemed no longer than usual. Fans were still limited to 2 beers each, and few fans were complaining about the new beer rules.
It's good. In effect, it lets us sober up before the halftime, before the game's over. It's all right.
It's not important. I mean, not here to drink. I'm here to watch the game.
Park District Superintendent Ed Kelly tonight saying this is a one-night, Monday night only beer ban, and things will be back to normal here at Soldier Field Sunday against the Vikings. Live at Soldier Field, Chuck Gowdy, Channel 7 Eyewitness News. Mary Ann, John.
Thank you very much, Chuck. We'll be going back to the stadium later in this newscast. A former Harvey police officer remains in critical condition tonight following a shooting incident last night. As Rush Ewing tells us, police are holding 29-year-old James Gentile, whose father, Judge Henry Gentile, was shot to death in his Chicago courtroom 2 years ago today.
The shooting occurred in East Hazelcrest. Attorney James Gentile, seen here at the Civic Center, was driving his car with a woman identified as Jennifer Woods. A police report says that her former husband, Michael Woods, curbed Gentile's car and started a fight. The police chief of Hazelcrest would not talk about the incident, saying that the state's attorney's office has the case. But we learned, however, that a police report says that Gentile shot Woods after Woods displayed a gun. Attorney James Gentile is the son of Judge Henry Gentile, who was shot to death in his courtroom exactly 2 years ago today. Attorney James Pizor also died in that shooting. A former Chicago policeman, Hutchie Moore, was convicted for those murders. It's ironic that Gentile's father was killed by a former policeman, and the man he shot was a former policeman. And the woman in the car with Gentile works in the state's attorney's office, but so far no one has been charged. Russ Ewing, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Violence has plagued the Gentile family in recent years. Earlier this year, Judge Gentile's widow was shot during a robbery at the South Suburban trailer court she owns. Mary Ann?
John, police tonight say they have some new clues linking the shooting death of a Cook County Sheriff's Police officer with an apparent murder-for-hire contract put out on a former City of Chicago employee, Robert Fisher. Investigators say they found a picture of Fisher while searching the home of one of 3 men accused of killing police officer Michael Ridges last Thursday. One of those suspects has told police the men were actually in Prospect Heights to carry out the murder of Fisher when Ridges was fatally shot during a routine traffic stop. Fisher, during an exclusive interview with Paul Monkey yesterday, said he's certain the men arrested for Ridges' murder were after him.
In the wallet of the accused murderer who shot the policeman, in his wallet they found my name, address, telephone number, plus someone else's name, address, and telephone number that they're linking this murder to.
Fisher barely escaped death or serious injury earlier this month when his car was fired upon as he left work. A bullet lodged in a seatbelt, but Fisher was not hurt. Fisher says he believes a city administrator and his former roommate is behind the plot to kill him. Police are investigating a possible link, but so far have filed no charges. Meantime, funeral services were held today for Officer Ridges in a Southwest Side church. He was praised as a good cop who knew how to get along with people. So many people showed up for Ridges' funeral today that many of them had to stand outside. Tonight, Dan White, the man who shot the mayor of San Francisco and its first openly gay supervisor in 1978, has reportedly killed himself. Police say White killed himself with carbon monoxide poisoning. His body was discovered in the garage of the house he shared with his wife and family. 7 years ago, the murders of Mayor George Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk shocked San Francisco. And then his relatively light sentence on manslaughter charges sparked rage and the White Night riots by San Francisco's gay community. One gay leader tonight called White's death a strong and ironic ending to the story.
Coming up next, Steve Deschler and the weather. Later, we will go back to Soldier Field, where Tim Weigel and Mike Adamle will talk live with some of the players in tonight's game. And politicians and taxpayers are concerned tonight about a plan that could rebuild Arlington Park in Chicago.
Bag, sir? No, I paid a low fare. I'll carry my own bags. You're flying United. Doesn't matter what you paid. I didn't expect that.
Go right on board.
This is too easy. Probably doesn't know what I paid.
Sir?
I know. I didn't pay for all this.
Enjoy your dinner.
United flies more passengers at low fares than any other airline.
More coffee? Easy. Just ask.
You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies.
Things are changing at Montgomery Ward all over Chicagoland. And we thought you might like to see what's going on.
We've changed our aisles. We've changed our styles. We've changed our lines. We've changed our signs. We've changed displays and we've changed our ways. Yeah, things are changing at Montgomery Ward.
The new Montgomery Ward. Not one store, but lots of them, all under one roof. From home electronics to appliances. There's no single store like it.
Oh, we've made some changes to what's hot, what's new. Yeah, things are changing because you're changing too. We're stepping out, there is no doubt. Yeah, things are changing.
The spirit of Montgomery Ward. New looks, hot ideas. You'll feel it throughout Chicagoland. So check it out at the Montgomery Ward store nearest you.
Things are changing at Montgomery Ward.
The spirit of Chicago business. It thrives at American National Bank. We can help guide your business through the shifting currents of today's turbulent economy. Give you the vision to spot opportunities and the strength to seize them. Because American National is the largest bank that specializes in Chicago business. Catch the spirit. Shake hands with American National, the bank for your business.
Well, the Bears win tonight. How about some good luck in the weather department?
It's possible. Today's weather was like the Bears tonight. Moments of greatness, but an overall shade of gray. Some questions about today's weather. Here's a look at what to expect by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. 45 degrees, couple of foggy patches, but basically a start to a pretty decent day. Here's a look at the satellite picture as of 7 o'clock. Lots of low-lying clouds around. By later on in the day, by 6 p.m., clouds beginning to break up, more patches of clearing showing through, and now the skies are pretty much clearing up all around Chicagoland. Only a few little low clouds left around. As the skies clear, a couple of foggy patches, but by tomorrow, sunshine will be on the way. Temperatures are coolish back to the north of us in the lower 40s, but look at back out to the west. Temperatures are very mild. They're coming this way from the plains, so a very nice day is coming for us tomorrow. New Troy 51, Roselle 47, Pembroke at 52, the Lakefront 54, 55 at Midway. O'Hare now stands at 48 degrees. Winds north at 7. Barometer has been stable. Humidity stands now at 93%. Today's high wasn't bad at 63, and the low so far has been 48 degrees, so a pretty mild day, really. Tuesday's forecast shows the big area of high pressure clearing all the skies out. Lots of nice sunshine for us and mild temperatures, too. Rain showers in the southeast and for much of the mid-Atlantic coastal states. Rain also across the Gulf and portions of Texas. Rain also increasing across the plains. And you'll see by late tomorrow the clouds gradually closing down the clearing gap for us. And by Wednesday, yes, more rain in the forecast. Here's the forecast then for tonight, calling for partly cloudy skies, areas of fog late, northeast winds, low temperature 45. Tomorrow, some sunshine around town, a little bit warmer with a southeast breeze, 67 out by the airport, but with that southeast wind, 57 lakefront. And for tomorrow night, breezy and mild, southeast winds around 10 to 20, low temperature 52. Our town was lit up tonight with all those signs of the Bears across the buildings, kind of a nice sight. Wednesday's forecast shows the increasing clouds coming for us, showers by afternoon, southeast to south winds at around 12 to 22, and a high temperature at 70. It's a good thing tonight we had the lights around town, not last night because it was really murky.
No, we wouldn't have seen them.
So tonight was a good night for them.
Okay, thanks, Steve.
Still ahead, we'll have more from Tim Weigel and Mike Adamle. Then Harry Porterfield is on hand as the Concorde comes to Illinois for the first time.
Paris, city of love. Paris, a romantic evening. Paris, the fragrance by Yves Saint Laurent. Intriguing, elegant, deeply romantic. Paris at night. The Eiffel Tower in a rain of roses. This elegant umbrella at fine department stores with Paris, the fragrance by Yves Saint Laurent.
Throughout motoring history, a number of Jaguars have been recognized as milestone motor cars. Combining timeless beauty with advanced technology, the Jaguar XJ6 has also achieved milestone status. Refined over the years, the XJ6 offers the reliability of proven engineering and the security of a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. Jaguar, a blending of art and machine.
The age of battery flashlights is over. Introducing the First Alert rechargeable flashlight. The powerful new flashlight that never needs batteries. The First Alert rechargeable flashlight is always bright because it has a unique power plug for easy recharging and a krypton bulb for a powerful beam. Get the new First Alert rechargeable flashlight.
Available at participating Ace Hardware, Osco Drug, and Fredder Appliance.
We didn't get to be the fastest growing copier company by making cameras. Mita, all we make are great copiers.
With less than 12 hours to go until a strike deadline, little progress has been reported yet in contract talks between the Sun-Times and its reporters, editors, and photographers. The paper's editorial staff says it will strike tomorrow morning at 10 if an agreement is not reached. The paper has pledged to continue publishing even if there is a strike. The union is fighting for a pay increase and to keep certain job security provisions in their contract. If there is a walkout, both Chicago papers would be coping with major strikes. Marianne?
No strike threat here, John, but a controversy at stake are millions of dollars in tax revenue and perhaps hundreds of jobs. Jay Levine tells us that there are efforts tonight to move the Arlington Park racetrack into the city of Chicago. Jay?
Marianne, the mayor of Arlington Heights tonight is accusing Chicago's elected officials of declaring war on the suburbs. And he's asking the 25 mayors of nearby communities to join the fight. James Ryan calls House Speaker Michael Madigan's effort to relocate the track in Chicago immoral. Almost before the flames had died down, long before the ashes had cooled, talk of rebuilding the track centered on tax breaks. Nothing more than the temporary stands put up for the Arlington Million would be built without first settling the tax issue. The House resolution links those tax breaks to a new track site in Chicago.
If there is to be a large tax break, both at the state and local level, then I think that the city of Chicago should have an opportunity to develop what will be an economic development opportunity for the city of Chicago.
But as House Speaker Madigan can do a lot more than merely introduce non-binding resolutions. As a result, legislation giving a new Arlington Heights racetrack a state tax break is now bottled up in a House committee. And if Madigan has his way, and he usually does, it'll stay that way. And that worries the folks here in Arlington Heights.
In my judgment, it is an outright attempt at theft of a $40 million industry.
At tonight's meeting, the Arlington Heights vowing to fight to keep the track. Already they've had pledges of support from elected officials such as Governor Thompson, as well as from those planning the new Arlington Park.
And to duplicate that in Chicago is taking a $100 million project and turning it into a $300 or $400 million project, and would take years in our estimation. We think the track belongs in Arlington Heights and should stay there.
If that's true, Joyce's claim that to win an estimated $20 million in tax breaks would add $200 million to construction costs, that would seem reason enough to stay away from Chicago. He'll take that argument to the legislature as the residents take their fight to the streets tomorrow with an early morning demonstration at the Arlington Heights train station. John, Marianne?
Okay, Jay, thank you. Coming up next, we'll go back live to Mike Adamle and Tim Weigel for more on the Bears. And a little bit later, Harry Porterfield reports that the door may not be closed for the Concorde to someday land at O'Hare.
AT&T on office automation. Theoretically, office automation makes business people more efficient. The problem is, most business machines can't share what they know the way people do. What's missing is a way for any office machine to communicate with any other. Enter AT&T. Through an AT&T system, computers, word processors, networks, and telephones from different vendors can all communicate like one big family. In AT&T's world, the key to success is people sharing information with people. And no business machine we know of is important enough to stand in the way. AT&T, the right choice.
Tomorrow on Eyewitness News at 4, there's new life for old films. From Hollywood comes a new creation, a process that adds color to black and white. Movie classics and vintage television shows will soon be enhanced to get rave reviews from audiences everywhere. We'll have the report. Then at 6, Yugo is making tracks.
This has been phenomenal.
Yugoslavia's compact cars heading to Chicago with a price tag that has a green light for many budget-minded customers. Colorized film at 4, followed by Yugo at 6 tomorrow on Eyewitness News.
There was a unique sight in Illinois skies today. The supersonic Concorde jetliner brought its famous nose and its infamous noise to Rockford. The celebrated plane caused a celebration, and Harry Porterfield was there.
It was an occasion worthy of a celebration. History was being made at Greater Rockford Airport, where for the first time in Illinois, the British Concorde would land.
I've never seen it before, and it's an exciting airplane, you know, it's so fast.
The Concorde's arrival was a major event. Its landing here at the Greater Rockford Airport was greeted with an enthusiasm usually reserved for the 4th of July. Even though it flies to New York, Washington, Miami, and even Oshkosh, Wisconsin, a city ordinance prevents it from landing at O'Hare because of the noise levels it generates. Among those watching the supersonic plane land today was 41st Ward Alderman Roman Kuczynski, an opponent of Concorde flights to Chicago.
My ward in the suburbs around Chicago, we're right up against the runways. We want to see just precisely how noisy is this airplane. If they can retrofit or do something to reduce the noise to meet the federal requirements, they could then operate to and from Chicago.
The giant plane's presence here does not signal the beginning of regular service. This is a chartered flight, a Rockford to London package tour arranged by the AAA Travel Agency. At Greater Rockford Airport, Harry Porterfield, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
The Concorde streaks across the Atlantic at 1,350 miles an hour, or twice the speed of sound, and it beats the clock. If you leave London at noon, the less than 4-hour flight lands in New York at 10:45 a.m. because of the 5-hour time difference. So you can arrive before you leave, Mary Ann.
Sounds like a good way to travel, John. We'll be back in just a moment with Mike Adamley, Tim Weigel, and Walter Payton.
You remember when you were my age, Dad? Come on, Dad. You understand what I mean, right? It's my first car.
It's your money, son. But if you want my advice, buy another Subaru. It's been good to us.
Sure, Dad.
I thought we agreed you'd buy a Subaru.
But, Dad, I did.
The new Subaru, and built to stay that way.
WFYR is fire. FM. Move to fire. It's hot. WFYR.
Every year I say I'm going to do something about next year's taxes, and every year I don't. Well, I finally did it, and I feel great. I invested in Nuveen. Nuveen income is free of federal tax. With Nuveen, I keep what I earn. So while you can do something about next year's taxes, call Nuveen today. It's not what you earn, it's what you keep.
For information on Nuveen tax-exempt unit trusts, call your broker, or 800-247-5600.
Now, as promised, let's go back to Tim Weigel live in the Bears locker room. Tim?
Yes, we are back here live with the brand new all-time Bears scoring leader, Walter Payton. We're also coming off the greatest performance ever by a major appliance, the Refrigerator Man. How about Walter Payton running behind Refrigerator Man, Mike? That's an unbeatable combination.
You know, Walter, he's got to be he's got to be illegal. The reason why Walter's laughing, he does the best refrigerator impersonation you've ever heard, but that is quite some sight, and I think George Cumbie doesn't know what hit him out there.
You know, not taking anything away from Matt too, because he's a tremendous blocker. But see, Matt, I'm taller than Matt, but the Refrigerator, he's a little bit taller than me and he's wider. You get the ball, you know, you just get lost in there. Funniest thing I heard though, we were coming back from Tampa Bay, and the Fridge was dancing. Jim McMahon walked up and said it looked like a big waterbed. Right here, you know, he just caved him in, and I just, you know, hit in there and just roll in for the touchdown. Right here, you know, it's the Fridge, and you know, if he stumbles, you know, with that momentum, and he's gonna get. Look out, Buzzard! No!
Now, you know, he owes it to the kangaroo. Would you give him the kangaroo shoes this week?
Oh, he got the shoes on. He knows what happened. He said, you know, we were running in practice. They said, well, you hit up in there and go over the top. And everybody looked at each other and said, I can't see him going over the top. And then Fridge turns and he turned to everybody and said, well, if they get it to me, I'll go over the top. Ain't no problem. I can get over the top.
Well, we're out of time at Soldier Field. We're going to continue this Refrigerator Man impersonation on our own time. Meanwhile, back to John and Marianne in the studio. The Bears are happy. They're winners.
Well, you can see that. I didn't know he did such great impersonations. He does. That's our news almost in the morning.
Yeah, have a good night, and we'll see you, well, a little bit later today.
Good night.
Good night.